I found out my wife was cheating on me on a Wednesday. Not because she told me. Not because I was spying on her. But because she forgot one small thing: I was the one who set up our home internet. My name is Daniel Reeves. I am 44 years old. I work as an engineer in Nashville. My job is to design bridges, strong, solid structures that can carry heavy weight without breaking. I guess I tried to build my marriage the same way. Stay strong. Keep trusting. Don't give up easily. My wife's name was Claire. We had been married for 11 years. She worked as a medicine sales representative and traveled a lot for work. We had a nice house, a golden retriever named Hatch, and what I thought was a good life together. One night I checked our home internet history. I noticed a phone connecting to our Wi-Fi at 2 in the morning, a phone I did not recognize. I checked further back. It had been happening for 5 months. Always late at night. Always gone by morning. I said nothing to Claire. I just started watching carefully. Looking back, the signs were always there. Her gym bag came home clean, like she never actually went to the gym. Her work trips started getting longer. She would laugh at messages on her phone and tilt the screen away from me. I had not noticed any of this before because I trusted her completely. I was busy with work. I believed in our marriage. Over the next 3 weeks, I quietly watched and took note of everything. I checked her shared calendar, which she had forgotten to remove me from, and compared it to where she actually was. I could see from her Instagram posts, which she had accidentally left me access to, that the times and places did not match what she told me. The man's name was Brandon Coyle. He worked with Claire in the same company. I found his profile online. He had the kind of smile that looked fake, the sort of person who is always trying to impress someone. I did not call Claire out on it. A good engineer does not tear down a bridge the moment he thinks something is wrong. First he checks everything carefully. He collects all the information. He understands the full picture before making any move. I called my old college friend Owen. He had become a divorce lawyer and was very good at his job. I told him I needed a private meeting. We met for lunch that Friday. "Tell me everything," Owen said. "Leave nothing out." So I did. When I finished talking, Owen put down his fork and looked at me seriously. "Daniel, before we talk about the affair, have you looked at your bank accounts recently? Have you really looked?" I had not. That evening I sat at my desk and went through more than a year of bank records. What I found made my stomach drop. Claire had been slowly moving money out of our joint account. Not in big amounts that would be obvious, she was too clever for that. Small amounts. $200 one week. $400 the next. All going into a secret bank account she had opened 18 months ago, around the same time her trips to Memphis started increasing. Total amount stolen, $63,000. But that was not even the worst part. A few months earlier, Claire had used a legal document called a power of attorney to refinance my truck, a vehicle I had owned before we were married, with only my name on it. A power of attorney means someone gives another person legal permission to act on their behalf. I had never given Claire that permission. I had never signed that document. I went to our fireproof box where we kept important papers. I found the document. My signature was at the bottom. I held it under the light and looked very carefully. I have signed my name thousands of times in my career. I know every curve and line of my own signature. The signature on that paper was close, but not right. The tail of the letter R was wrong. Mine curves out long and smooth. This one turned back on itself. She had faked my signature. I took photos of every document. That same night I sent everything to Owen with one message: "It is worse than we thought." Here is what I did not do. I did not call Claire into the room and shout at her. I did not call Brandon. I did not cancel our credit cards or take all the remaining money. I did not throw her clothes out of the house or change the locks or do any of the things an angry man might do. Instead, I went to work the next morning as normal. I had dinner with Claire that evening. I asked about her day. I listened while she talked about a difficult customer and a delayed flight. I said, "That sounds tiring," and I meant it in more ways than she knew. Owen hired a financial expert named Helen Bray to dig into the money trail. Helen was quiet and calm but extremely sharp. Within 10 days she had followed the $63,000 from Claire's secret account into a shared investment account, an account opened jointly in Claire's name and Brandon Coyle's name. They were building a future together, using my money to pay for it. Helen also found that Claire had secretly applied for 3 credit cards using both our names. The bills were going to a post office box I had never heard of. The cards had been used to buy furniture, kitchen appliances, and home decorations. The delivery address was a flat in East Nashville. I drove past that address one evening after work. Brandon's car was parked outside. Right next to it was Claire's car. She had told me she was visiting her sister in Knoxville. I took one photo. Then I drove home, fed Hatch his dinner, and called Owen. "We are ready," I said. Everything happened on a Thursday morning. By the time Claire came downstairs for her morning coffee, Owen had already filed the divorce papers in court, requested that all our shared bank accounts be frozen so no more money could be moved, and reported Claire to the police for faking my signature and applying for credit cards without my permission. Claire's phone started buzzing while she was still pouring her coffee. Her bank app told her the accounts were frozen. A phone call came from her own lawyer, she already had one, which told me she had been planning this for a while too. Then there was a knock at the front door. A court official handing her the official divorce papers. She looked at me across the kitchen. For the first time in months, she was really looking at me. "Daniel. My lawyer will be in touch," I said. I picked up my coffee, my car keys, and my dog. We walked out the door and did not look back. What followed was 8 months of legal proceedings. I will keep it simple. A handwriting expert confirmed that the signature on the power of attorney document was not mine, it had been faked. The police filed criminal charges against Claire for forgery and fraudulent credit applications. In court, Owen proved that Claire had deliberately stolen and moved our shared money in preparation for leaving me, which under Tennessee law means the stolen money gets counted against her share when dividing assets. Claire's lawyer tried hard to negotiate a better deal for her. Claire herself sent me 2 long text messages, first angry, then sorry, then somewhere in between. I read both of them. I did not reply to either. In the end, Claire pleaded guilty to a reduced charge. She received 12 months probation. She was ordered to pay back every single dollar she had stolen, taken from her share of our shared assets. The credit card debts she had run up secretly were assigned entirely to her. The house went to me, I had owned it before we got married and had documents to prove it. The investment account she had been building with Brandon was seized by the court and the money was split as a marital asset. I was told Brandon's face when he received that news was something to see. I would not know. I never met the men. Not even once. People ask me sometimes how I stayed so calm through all of it. How I sat across the dinner table from Claire for 3 weeks knowing what I knew. How I did not lose my temper. I tell them the same thing every time. Anger is useful, it tells you that something is wrong. But anger is a terrible plan. The moment you explode, the moment you accuse someone before you are fully ready, you give them time to delete messages, move money, make up a story, and cover their tracks. You throw away your biggest advantage just for the satisfaction of one angry moment. Claire had assumed I was too busy and too trusting to look closely at what she was doing. She thought I was the kind of man who would not notice the small things. She was right that I was trusting. What she got wrong was this: quiet people notice everything. I still live in the same house. Hatch still sleeps at the foot of my bed. I have been seeing someone new for about 8 months, a woman named Priya who makes great coffee and has absolutely no idea how a Wi-Fi router works, which I find very sweet. I heard that Claire moved to Memphis. Whether she and Brandon are still together, I honestly do not know. I stopped keeping track the day the divorce was finalized. Some parts of those 11 years were real and good. I know that. I have made peace with it. A few months ago a younger colleague came to me quietly. His wife had been acting strange. He had found things he could not explain. He was hurt and angry and did not know what to do. I told him exactly what Owen had told me. Do not move yet. Do not show her that you know anything. Write down every single thing you have noticed, dates, times, details. Call a lawyer before you do anything else. And whatever you do. I paused for a moment. Do not let her see you coming. He nodded slowly. Took out his phone. Started writing a list. I think he is going to be just fine.